Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Confident Speaking Podcast. My name is Sophia, and I'll be your host and guide for today's session. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time, I want to let you know that we are dedicated to helping you achieve your language goals by uploading a brand new English learning video every day, designed to help you elevate your English with more speed and self assurance. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into an immersive practice that will sharpen not just your English listening comprehension, but your speaking abilities as well. Think of today's lesson as a complete masterclass in advanced English fluency, meticulously crafted to help you speak English with greater clarity, confidence, and a natural rhythm in just 30 days. We will journey through authentic, real life examples and guided exercises, which will empower you to understand natural English, enhance your sentence flow, and acquire powerful expressions that make your speech sound both fluent and effortless. Whether your goal is to introduce yourself more effectively, engage in casual conversations with ease, or articulate your ideas in detail, you will learn the precise methods to start thinking in English and speaking without hesitation. By the time this video concludes, you'll feel a renewed sense of confidence in every conversation and possess a clear step-by-step plan that you can implement daily for the next 30 days to witness tangible results in your fluency. Before we dive in, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our valuable English learning lessons. Now, find a pen and some paper, and let's begin this exciting journey together. When you first consider the idea of achieving English fluency in a mere 30 days, it might seem like a monumental challenge, perhaps something reserved only for the most advanced learners. However, the reality is quite different. Fluency is not a race to memorize thousands of new words in a short span of time. Instead, it's about skillfully using the vocabulary you already possess, applying it with the right rhythm, and most importantly, with the right level of confidence. Today, I'm going to guide you through a step-by-step process to train your brain, your mouth, and your ears to synchronize their efforts every single day for the next month. I promise you will be astonished by the amount of progress you can achieve. Let's begin with a crucial distinction. A widespread belief among learners is that fluency equates to speaking quickly. But this is a common misconception. True fluency is characterized by the ability to speak smoothly, without awkward, long pauses, or struggling to retrieve words. It's about conveying your thoughts with clarity, even if you choose to speak at a slower, more deliberate pace. Therefore, this masterclass will prioritize clarity, flow, and confidence, not speed. Speed is a byproduct of comfort. It will develop naturally as your confidence grows. Now, I want you to visualize a simple daily routine that will serve as our practice ground. Imagine you wake up in the morning, you make your bed, you go on to prepare breakfast. You get yourself ready for the day ahead. These moments, while seemingly ordinary, are the perfect opportunities for you to practice English in real time. Rather than performing these actions in silence, start narrating them to yourself in English. For instance, as you're pouring your morning coffee, you could say aloud, "I'm pouring my coffee into the cup. It smells so wonderfully fresh and warm." This might appear overly simple at first, but vocalizing what you are doing in the present moment is a powerful technique that trains your brain to instantly connect physical actions with English words. Let's give it a try together. I will say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me. Are you ready? I am brushing my teeth. Again, I am brushing my teeth. Now, let's try it a little faster. I'm brushing my teeth. Can you perceive the shift in rhythm? This is precisely how we transition from slow, deliberate English to a more natural and connected form of speech. Your daily task is to select at least 5 simple actions and describe them out loud in English as you are performing them. Another fundamental key to unlocking fluency in 30 days is consistent daily listening practice. But here is the secret ingredient. Your listening must be active, not passive. This means that instead of merely hearing the words, you need to concentrate on the finer details, the pronunciation, the intonation, and the pauses between words. For example, pay close attention as I say, "Could you pass me the salt, please?" Listen carefully to how my voice rises on, "Could you?" and then gently falls at the end of the sentence. Now it's your turn to repeat it. "Could you pass me the salt, please?" Excellent. The more you begin to recognize these subtle melodic patterns in speech, the easier it will become for you to sound natural when you speak. We are also going to incorporate a technique called shadowing. This involves listening to an English sentence and then repeating it almost immediately, striving to match the speaker's tone, speed, and pronunciation as closely as you possibly can. Let's engage in a brief shadowing exercise right now. I will say a sentence once slowly and then again at a normal pace, and your job is to follow along. I'm going to the store to buy some bread. Slowly now. I am going to the store to buy some bread. And now, at a normal conversational speed. I'm going to the store to buy some bread. This powerful exercise trains your mouth to replicate the sounds of natural English and is recognized as one of the most rapid methods for building fluency. Here is your very first challenge for today. For the next hour, I want you to make a conscious effort to think in English as much as you can. As you look around your environment, name the objects that you see. When you're planning your next task, articulate that plan in English, either silently in your mind or, if you're able, out loud. It's perfectly fine if your sentences are short and simple. The primary objective is to keep the English-speaking channel in your brain continuously open so that it gradually becomes your default mode of thinking throughout the day. And please remember this. Mistakes are not your adversary. On the contrary, they are your most valuable teachers. The only certain way to avoid making mistakes is to remain silent. But silence will never lead you to fluency. Every single time you choose to speak, you are granting yourself an opportunity to learn and improve. So, over the course of these next 30 days, I urge you to speak as much as possible. Even when you don't feel 100% certain, just go for it. Confidence is a muscle that grows stronger when you practice without the fear of being imperfect. Before we proceed, let's do a few more speaking drills together. I am going to give you a short, common conversation. Your task is to repeat after me, maintaining the exact same tone and speed. Hi, how are you today? I'm doing well, thank you. And you? I'm great. Thanks for asking. This type of brief, friendly exchange is the very foundation of the natural conversation. The more you practice these interactions, the more automatic and effortless they will become. Now let's take our practice to a slightly deeper level. Speaking fluently isn't merely about reacting spontaneously in the moment. It's also about being well prepared. One of the most effective ways to prepare is to have a collection of ready-to-use sentences stored in your mind. These are phrases you have practiced so frequently that they can roll off your tongue without conscious thought. Consider, for example, can you help me with this? Like, or I'm not sure. Could you explain that again? If you make a habit of practicing these pre-made sentences daily, you'll discover that in real conversations, you can respond much more quickly and with significantly more confidence. Let's try a small set together now. Repeat after me. Could you tell me how to get there? Again, could you tell me how to get there? Now, let's say it a bit faster and more naturally. Could you tell me how to get there? Excellent. Let's try another one. I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Repeat. I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Now, faster. I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? When you train your speech with these patterns, you are effectively building muscle memory for speaking. In the same way that athletes train their bodies to perform movements automatically, you are conditioning your mouth to speak English without hesitation or delay. The next skill we're going to concentrate on is describing the things happening around you. This is an incredibly powerful habit because it compels your brain to forge real-time connections between physical objects, ongoing situations, and English words. For instance, if you find yourself waiting at a bus stop, you could say to yourself, "There's a blue bus coming down the street. It's stopping to pick up passengers. People are getting on and off quickly." By engaging in this simple activity, you are simultaneously practicing your skills of observation, vocabulary recall, and sentence construction. Let's do a guided description exercise together now. I will describe a scene and you will repeat after me. Imagine you are standing in your kitchen. There's a kettle on the stove. The water is boiling. Steam is rising from the spout. I can hear the sound of bubbles. Now, I want you to think about your own kitchen. Take a look around and describe 3 objects that you see. You can start your sentences with, "There is icy," or "I'm looking at." Please say them out loud if you can. Another effective strategy to accelerate your fluency within these 30 days is to link new vocabulary to something personal in your life. This technique helps you remember new words more quickly and encourages you to use them more frequently. For example, if you learn the word delighted, don't just memorize its dictionary definition. Instead, connect it to a personal memory. Perhaps you can recall a time you received an unexpected gift. You could formulate a sentence like, "I was delighted when I opened the package and saw the book I'd been wanting for months." These personal connections help to embed words into your long-term memory. Now let's practice combining words you already know with new ones. Let's say you are familiar with the word happy and you've just learned the word thrilled. You can practice by first saying, "I was happy to see my friend." Then you can elevate the emotion by saying, "I was thrilled to see my friend." Can you feel how the intensity of the emotion changes? When you engage in this type of variation practice every day, your vocabulary expands organically and you begin to use richer, more expressive English in your conversations. One of the most effective habits you can adopt right now is the practice of speaking for 1 full minute without stopping. The topic itself doesn't matter. The main goal is to keep talking, even if you make a few small mistakes along the way. For instance, you could choose a topic like "my favorite food" and simply talk about it for 60 seconds. You might say something like, "My favorite food is pasta. I like it because it's warm, filling, and you can add so many different sauces. My favorite sauce is tomato with fresh herbs. I remember when I was a child, my mother used to make pasta every Sunday." By pushing yourself to continue talking, you are training your brain to constantly search for words and to avoid freezing in the middle of a sentence. Let's try this together. I will give you a topic, and your challenge is to speak for 1 minute. Your topic is the last time you went shopping. Start by describing when you went, where you went, what you bought, and how you felt. Remember, the key is to keep going. Even if you find yourself repeating a few words, Repetition is far better than silence. Finally, for this section, I want you to hold on to this thought. Fluency is a daily journey, not a singular destination or a one-time achievement. Every single day that you speak English, you are forging stronger neural connections in your brain. Every sentence you utter aloud is one step closer to thinking in English naturally. The next 30 days are your personal training ground. So I ask you to make a commitment to show up every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. You will truly be amazed at what you can accomplish in just 1 month. Let's now shift our focus to one of the most underestimated yet crucial skills for developing fluency: the use of transitions. Transitions are the small but vital bridges that connect your ideas, making your speech sound smooth, logical, and connected. Without them, your sentences can sound disjointed, like separate blocks of information, which makes any conversation feel less natural and harder to follow. Simple words and phrases like so, actually, by the way, like fact, you know, and well might seem minor, but they are incredibly powerful. They not only help your listener follow your train of thought, but also give you a precious moment to think without creating an awkward silence. Let's practice this. I'll provide two short sentences, and your task is to connect them using a transition word. For instance, I enjoy reading. It helps me relax. You could easily combine these by saying, I enjoy reading because it helps me relax. Or I enjoy reading, and it helps me relax. Do you notice how much better the sentences flow when they are connected? Let's try another example. I was tired. I kept working. You could join them with a phrase like, even though I was tired, I kept working. Practicing these linguistic links will make your speech sound more sophisticated, natural, and intelligent. Here's a quick exercise you can incorporate into your daily routine. Take 5 random sentences or phrases and try to connect them using different transitions. For example, I need to buy milk. I want to visit my friend. You could say, I need to buy milk, and after that, I want to visit my friend. Or you could express a different relationship between the ideas. I need to buy milk, but I also want to visit my friend. The more you experiment with these connectors, the more flexible and fluent your speaking will become. Another essential component of your 30-day journey is mastering control over your tone of voice. Your tone is the music of your speech. It communicates to your listeners whether you are feeling excited, calm, curious, or serious. Even if your grammar is absolutely perfect, speaking in a flat, monotonous tone can make you sound detached or less confident. To illustrate, try saying this sentence in a completely flat voice. That's a great idea. Now say it again, but this time with enthusiasm in your voice. That's a great idea. The difference is instantaneous and profound. This is precisely why we must include tone practice in your daily regimen. Let's do it right now. Repeat after me with a lot of positive energy. I'm so happy to see you. Now, let's try it again with a calm and gentle tone. I'm so happy to see you. Do you see how your tone completely changes the feeling and meaning of the words? In real-life conversations, skillfully adjusting your tone is what helps your listener feel truly connected to you and your message. Fluency also greatly depends on how you handle situations where you don't know or can't remember a word. When you can't recall a specific word, the key is not to freeze. Instead, use a simpler word or describe the concept in another way. For example, if you forget the word microwave, you could simply say, the machine that heats food quickly. This clever technique is called circumlocution, and it is a lifesaver for keeping conversations moving forward smoothly. Let's practice this skill. Imagine you can't remember the word wallet. How would you describe it? You might say, "It's the small case where I keep my money and my cards." You see, you have successfully communicated the idea without needing the exact vocabulary word. Practicing this skill will make you feel fearless in conversations because you will realize you always have a way to express yourself. Now, we're going to work on improving your reaction time. In a natural conversation, people generally expect a reply quite quickly, not after a long, thoughtful pause. So, I'm going to ask you some simple questions, and I want you to answer instantly, even if your answer is very short. Are you ready? What's your favorite drink? Say your answer now. Where did you last go on holiday? Say it now. What's one thing you enjoy doing in your free time? Good. The more you train yourself to produce these quick responses, the less you will find yourself overthinking when you have to speak with real people. And here's a very important mindset shift I want you to adopt. Every single conversation is an opportunity to practice. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a friend, a colleague, or even just talking to yourself. Every moment you spend speaking English contributes directly to your fluency. Don't wait for the perfect moment to practice. That moment is happening right now. The cashier at the grocery store, your neighbor, the person sitting next to you on the bus, all of these are opportunities to train your fluency in authentic, real world situations. For the remainder of today, I want you to concentrate on one simple goal. Whenever an opportunity to speak English presents itself, take it. Even if it's just a simple greeting or a very short exchange, you are building a foundation of small wins. These small victories will stack up incredibly quickly over the next 30 days. Now, let's discuss one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate during these 30 days: daily topic immersion. The concept is simple. You choose one topic for the day and then surround yourself with English related to that specific theme. You can read about it, watch a video about it, talk about it, and even do some writing about it. For instance, if your topic of the day is travel, you could read a short article about travel tips, watch a brief video about popular destinations, and then spend a few minutes speaking about your own personal travel experiences. Immersion of this kind keeps your brain focused and makes the learning process feel purposeful and structured rather than random and disconnected. Let's do a quick practice session together. Today's mini topic will be food. I'm going to ask you a few questions and I'd like you to answer them out loud. What is your favorite dish and why do you like it? How often do you eat it? Can you describe its taste and texture? To make this habit even more effective, I recommend keeping a small notebook or using a notes app on your phone. Whenever you hear or read a new word related to your daily topic, write it down immediately. Then make it a point to use that new word in a sentence at least 3 times throughout the day. For example, if your new word is crispy, you might say, "The fries are crispy on the outside and soft on the inside." Or, "I like my toast to be crispy in the morning." This kind of deliberate repetition is what cements the word into your active, usable vocabulary. Another powerful skill for building fluency is storytelling. People are naturally drawn to stories. And when you can confidently tell a story in English, you not only capture your listener's attention, but you also practice structuring your thoughts in a clear and logical sequence. You can start small by telling short stories about real events from your own life. For example, yesterday I was walking to the store when I saw a beautiful rainbow. It was so bright and colorful that I stopped to take a picture. A little girl standing next to me pointed at it and smiled. This simple narrative effectively uses the past tense, descriptive language, and sequencing, all of which are essential for fluent communication. Let's practice building a story together. I will begin, and I want you to continue it. Last weekend, I went to a park near my house. Now it's your turn. Add what you did there, who you were with, and how you felt. Remember to use vivid details like colors, sounds, and feelings. This is what makes your story more engaging and memorable for your listener. Speaking of details, one reason some learners find themselves struggling with fluency is that they tend to speak in very short, basic sentences. For instance, I went to the market. I bought fruit. It was good. While this is grammatically correct, it's not very engaging or descriptive. You can easily expand this by adding more details. I went to the market early in the morning because I wanted to buy fresh fruit. The air was cool and the smell of ripe strawberries filled the stalls. I bought a basket of strawberries, some sweet mangoes, and a bunch of bananas. Adding these details not only enhances your fluency, but also gives you more opportunities to practice a wider range of vocabulary and sentence structures. Here's a daily exercise for you. Choose one thing you did today and describe it in 3 different ways: simple, detailed, and emotional. For example, simple. I went for a walk. Detailed. I went for a walk around the neighborhood this morning and saw many flowers blooming. Emotional. I went for a peaceful walk this morning, and seeing the bright flowers made me feel calm and happy. This will train you to express the same idea with varying levels of richness and complexity. Finally, for this section, remember to celebrate your small improvements. You may not notice them on a day-to-day basis, but I assure you, they are happening. That moment when you respond to someone without first translating in your head, the first time you understand a fast-spoken sentence without needing to replay it, the time you tell a short story and see the other person smile. These are all clear signs that your fluency is growing, and each one of these moments is worth acknowledging and celebrating. Now, let's concentrate on training your listening and speaking skills in tandem. Many learners treat these as separate activities, but when you combine them, your path to fluency becomes much more rapid. One effective method for this is called echo practice. This is when you listen to someone speaking English, and as soon as they complete a short phrase or sentence, you repeat it in your own voice, making sure to copy their tone and rhythm. This is similar to shadowing, but with echo practice, you allow for a slight pause, which gives you a moment to process the words and structure before you speak. This small gap is crucial because it allows you to consciously think about the words and sentence construction before you repeat them. Let's try a brief echo drill right now. I will say a sentence, then I'll pause, and you will repeat it exactly as you heard it. I'm learning new phrases every day. Pause for repeat. Now the next one. I enjoy practicing English in the morning. Pause for repeat. And one more. I'm becoming more confident with my speaking skills. Pause for repeat. Committing to this for just 5 minutes a day can make a tremendous difference in your pronunciation and overall confidence. Another highly useful habit to develop is question switching. This is the practice of taking a question someone asks you, answering it, and then skillfully switching it back to them. This technique keeps conversations flowing smoothly and creates more opportunities for you to speak. For instance, if someone asks, "How was your weekend?" you can reply, "It was great, thank you. How was yours?" This not only demonstrates your interest in the other person, but also effectively doubles your speaking practice within the same conversational exchange. Let's do a practice round. I will play the role of the other person. What do you usually have for breakfast? You answer and then ask me the same question. Next question. When was the last time you traveled? You answer and then ask me back. Final question. What's your favorite hobby? Again, provide your answer and then ask me. The more you practice this, the more natural it will feel to keep the conversation alive and engaging. Fluency also grows when you practice using reaction phrases. These are short, automatic responses that you can use without much thought. These include common phrases like, really? That's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. Exactly. And I see what you mean. Using these expressions makes you sound more engaged in the conversation and helps you fill small gaps while you formulate your next thought. Try repeating these after me with a natural conversational tone. Really? That's interesting. I see what you mean. Exactly. Now imagine someone tells you, I just learned how to cook pasta. You could reply instantly with, really? That's great. These small reactions make your English sound dynamic and alive, not robotic. We also need to work on the skill of paraphrasing, which means expressing the same idea in a different way. This is a fluency superpower because it ensures you can keep speaking even if you forget a specific word or phrase. For example, if someone says, I had a tough day at work, you could respond by paraphrasing, so it was a bit stressful for you today. Or it sounds like your day was challenging. By practicing paraphrasing, you learn how to say more with the vocabulary you already command. Here's an exercise for you. I will give you a sentence, and I want you to try saying it in a different way. The sentence is, I'm very tired. You could say, I feel exhausted, I'm worn out, or I don't have much energy left. Let's try another one. The movie was good. You could say, I really enjoyed the movie. It was entertaining, or it was worth watching. See how many alternative options you can generate for each core idea. And finally, for this section, let's work on describing your feelings and opinions. When you speak about how you feel, you create a much deeper connection in a conversation. Instead of just saying, I like it, try to explain why. For example, I like this cafe because the atmosphere is so relaxing and the coffee always tastes fresh. Adding these reasons makes your sentences longer and richer, which in turn gives you more valuable speaking practice. One of the most effective strategies for strengthening your fluency is to practice speaking in different time frames. The ability to talk naturally about the past, the present, and the future will make you a more versatile and confident speaker in any conversation. For the past, you can use examples like, yesterday I went to the park and met an old friend. For the present, you could say, I'm sitting at my desk right now listening to music. For the future, you might say, tomorrow I'm going to visit my cousin in another city. Being able to switch between these tenses quickly is an excellent workout for your brain. Let's try this together. I will give you an action, and I want you to formulate a sentence for it in all three tenses. The action is cook dinner. For the past, I cooked dinner last night. For the present, I'm cooking dinner right now. And for the future, I'm going to cook dinner tomorrow evening. This type of drill helps keep your grammar flexible and ready for any conversational situation. Another area to focus on is expanding short answers into full, detailed sentences. When someone asks you, do you like reading? You could simply reply with, yes, but that effectively ends the conversation. Instead, you can expand your answer by saying, Yes, I like reading because it helps me relax and learn new things. The more you practice adding reasons, details, and examples to your answers, the more naturally you will be able to speak for longer periods. Here's an exercise for you. I will ask you a question, and I want you to answer it with at least two extra details. Do you enjoy cooking? Have you ever traveled abroad? What kind of music do you like? Take a moment to think, but don't pause for too long. The goal is to let your ideas flow, even if you make a few small mistakes along the way. An equally important skill to cultivate during these 30 days is learning to self correct without disrupting your conversational flow. If you realize you've made a mistake, you can simply repeat the sentence correctly and then continue speaking. For example, if you say, "She go to the market yesterday," you can quickly correct yourself by saying, "She went to the market yesterday." This demonstrates that you are aware of the grammar rule, but you don't bring the conversation to a halt just to fix it. The more you practice this, the smoother and more natural your speech will become. To help with this, try a quick correction drill. Speak for 1 minute on any topic you choose, and whenever you hear yourself make an error, repeat the sentence correctly right away. You might be surprised at how quickly your brain starts to automatically notice and fix these errors on its own. Another habit to build is speaking with genuine emotion and personal connection. Think about how you would tell a story to a close friend. You wouldn't just list the facts. You would add your feelings, reactions, and the little details that make the story interesting and relatable. For example, you could say, "I went to the park and the sun was shining so brightly. I felt so happy just sitting on the grass watching the birds fly around." This kind of personal storytelling makes your English both memorable and engaging for your listener. Finally, remember to challenge yourself to speak for progressively longer periods every few days. If you can comfortably speak for 1 minute today, aim for 2 minutes next week, and then 3 minutes the week after. Your speech doesn't have to be perfect. The main goal is to constantly stretch your comfort zone. By the end of these 30 days, you will notice that talking for 5 minutes straight in English feels completely normal, and that represents a huge leap forward toward genuine fluency. One habit that will significantly speed up your progress over these 30 days is the practice of thinking aloud in English. And this means you verbalize your thoughts as they occur, almost as if you are narrating your own day to yourself. For instance, if you're walking to the store, you could say, "I'm walking down the street. The weather is warm today. I can smell fresh bread from the bakery on the corner." This powerful exercise trains your brain to construct sentences in real time without the intermediate step of translating from your native language. If you are in a public place and can't speak aloud, you can still practice by thinking in English silently. Describe what you see, what you are feeling, or what you plan to do next. For example, "After I finish this, I'm going to call my friend. I need to buy some vegetables for dinner. I should check my emails before lunch." Over time, this consistent habit will make English your default mode of thinking. Another powerful exercise is what I call the expand and extend technique. You begin with a very simple sentence and then progressively add more detail to it. For example, start with, "I like coffee." Then expand it. "I like coffee because it helps me wake up in the morning." Now, extend it even further. "I like coffee because it helps me wake up in the morning, and I enjoy the rich aroma that fills the kitchen as it brews." By stretching your sentences in this manner, you will naturally train yourself to speak for longer durations without awkward pauses. Let's try a few more together. Start with, "I enjoy music." Now expand it. "I enjoy music because it helps me relax." Finally, extend it. I enjoy music because it helps me relax after work, and it reminds me of happy times with my friends. This practice might seem simple, but if you do it every day, your fluency will grow at an impressive rate. It's also incredibly important to notice how native speakers use fillers. Fillers are small words or sounds like, well, I mean, and actually. They serve the purpose of giving you a moment to think without stopping your speech completely. For example, well, I think we should start now. You know, that movie was better than I expected. Actually, I've never tried that before. Using these appropriately can make your speech sound more natural and less rehearsed, but remember, the key is not to overuse them. Let's do a quick filler practice. I will say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it with a specific filler at the beginning. The sentence is, "It's raining today." Add well to the start. Next sentence. I like reading books. Add to the start. Final sentence. I don't have time for that. Add actually to the start. Practicing this will help you learn to insert fillers smoothly and naturally whenever you need a second to gather your thoughts. Another technique that will help you sound more confident is practicing how to vary your sentence length. If every sentence you speak is short, your speech can sound choppy and simplistic. Conversely, if every sentence is very long and complex, it can become confusing for your listener. The key is to find a natural balance. For example, I love traveling, short. Then follow it with, I love traveling because it gives me the chance to explore new cultures, meet interesting people, and taste different foods. Long. This natural variation in sentence structure is what keeps your listener engaged and interested in what you have to say. And here is a challenge for you today. Record yourself speaking on any topic for 2 minutes. When you listen back to the recording, pay close attention to your pauses, your tone, and your speed. Notice if you are using fillers, if you are speaking in complete sentences, and if you sound engaged and energetic. Then, record yourself speaking on the same topic a second time, but this time try to improve just one specific thing. This type of self-feedback is incredibly valuable because it will make you more aware of your speaking habits and help you to change them more quickly. A fantastic way to accelerate your journey to fluency is to practice role-playing different common situations. Role-playing allows you to imagine real-life conversations and prepare for them in a safe and controlled environment. You can act out a variety of scenarios, such as a job interview, ordering at a restaurant, making small talk at a party, or even having a simple phone call. For example, if you practice ordering food, you might say to yourself, "Good evening, I'd like to order the grilled chicken with vegetables, please." Then you can imagine the waiter asking, "Would you like anything to drink?" And you would then respond, "Yes, I'll have a glass of water. Thank you." By rehearsing these scenarios, you'll feel much more prepared and confident when they actually happen in real life. Let's try one right now. Imagine you're at an airport check-in counter. The agent says, "May I have your passport, please?" You would reply, "Yes, here it is." Then the agent asks, "Would you like a window or an aisle seat?" You can then answer, "I'd like a window seat, please." The more you practice these everyday exchanges, the more automatic and effortless your responses will become. Another crucial area to work on is the art of asking follow-up questions. Many language learners become very good at answering questions, but often fail to keep the conversation going. If someone tells you, "I went to the beach last weekend," you can respond with genuine curiosity. You might ask, "Oh, really? Which beach did you go to?" Or, "That sounds nice. Was the weather good?" Asking follow-up questions not only provides you with more speaking practice, but also makes you come across as a friendly and engaged conversationalist. To train this important habit, take any statement you hear and try to think of at least two questions you could ask about it. For example, if you hear the sentence, "I bought a new phone," you could ask, "What kind of phone is it?" And "Why did you choose that particular model?" Doing this regularly will make your conversations far more dynamic and interactive. Fluency also depends heavily on rhythm, which is the natural flow and music of your words. The English language has a distinct pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables, and practicing with this rhythm will make your speech smoother and much easier for others to understand. For example, say the sentence, "I'm going to the store to buy some milk." Notice how certain words receive more stress. "I'm going to the store to buy some milk." Now try repeating it with that same emphasis. Here's another rhythm drill for you. She's working on a big project at the office. The stressed words here are, she's working on a big project at the office. This practice will help you develop a natural English cadence, preventing you from sounding too flat or robotic. It is also important to learn how to pause politely when you need a moment to think. Instead of just falling silent, you can use useful phrases like, "That's a good question. Let me think for a moment," or, "Well, I suppose." These small expressions effectively buy you time while keeping the conversation flowing naturally. Let's practice this now. I will ask you a question, and before you answer, I want you to use one of these polite pause phrases. What is your favorite holiday destination? You could begin your answer with, "That's a good question. I think my favorite holiday destination is." This sounds confident and gives you a valuable moment to organize your thoughts before you speak. Finally, please remember that speaking fluently is not about achieving perfection. It's about being understood and feeling comfortable expressing yourself. Even native speakers make small mistakes, repeat themselves, or change their words mid-sentence. What truly matters is that you keep the conversation moving forward. In the coming days, I challenge you to speak without worrying constantly about grammar. Focus on conveying your message first and foremost. The accuracy will improve naturally with consistent practice. One technique that will help you sound more natural is called mirroring. Mirroring means that you copy not only the words of the person you are speaking to, but also their body language, tone, and pace. Of course, if you are practicing alone, you can mirror what you hear in videos or audio clips. For example, if you listen to someone saying, "I can't believe it's already Friday," you should try to repeat it with the exact same speed, pitch, and style. This practice helps your English feel more authentic and alive because you are internalizing the small, natural patterns that native speakers use unconsciously. Let's try a few right now. I will say these phrases naturally, and your job is to repeat them. That sounds amazing. I didn't expect that at all. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Try to match not just the pronunciation, but also the emotional tone that is behind the words. Another important habit to develop is the ability to switch between formal and informal speech depending on the situation. In a casual conversation with friends, you might say, "Hey, what's up?" However, in a more professional setting, you would be more likely to say, "Good morning, how are you today?" Being able to adjust your communication style demonstrates that you are a flexible and context-aware speaker. Here is a quick comparison practice for you. Informal. I'm going to grab a coffee. Formal. I am going to get a coffee. Informal. Want to hang out later? Formal. Would you like to meet later? Practicing this kind of switching will help you feel prepared and confident in any type of conversation. Another way to accelerate your fluency is to train your brain to fully answer why and how questions. Many learners tend to answer these types of questions too briefly. If someone asks, "Why do you like living here?" you could elaborate by saying, "I like living here because the weather is nice and there are plenty of parks to walk in." If they ask, "How do you usually spend your weekends?" you could respond, "I usually spend my weekends reading, going for walks, and meeting friends for coffee." By making it a habit to add more than one detail, you will naturally speak for longer and give your listener more information to connect with. We should also discuss the importance of pronunciation drills. It's beneficial to spend a few minutes each day focusing on sounds that you find tricky. For example, the th sound, as in think or this. To produce the sound in think, you should place your tongue between your teeth and gently push air out. For the sound in this, your tongue is in the same position, but you activate your voice. Practicing these small but significant sounds will make your speech much clearer and easier for others to understand. Let's try a quick drill. Repeat after me. Think, thought, through. Now for the voiced sound. This, that, these. And now let's try a classic tongue twister. 33 thin things. Practice this slowly at first, then gradually increase your speed until it feels natural. And always remember, fluency grows most effectively when you mix active speaking with active listening. When you are listening to someone speak, pay attention to the specific phrases they use and then try to reuse those same phrases in your next conversation. If you hear someone say, "I've been meaning to try that," make a note of it and practice saying it later. This habit will constantly refresh and update your vocabulary with real modern English that people actually use. To conclude this part of our session, I want you to set a mini goal for today. Choose one phrase you've learned here and make it your mission to use it at least 3 times, either in a real conversation or in your own solo speaking practice. This is how a new phrase becomes a part of your active English vocabulary, rather than just something you recognize when you hear it. One of the most valuable skills for achieving fluency quickly is the ability to describe things from your memory. When you recall and describe something you have personally experienced, you strengthen your capacity to organize your ideas in English without needing to rely on mental translation. You can begin with simple events: a conversation you had recently, a meal you ate, or a place you visited. Your task is to tell the story in as much detail as you can. For example, last Sunday I went to my favorite cafe. I ordered a cappuccino and a slice of chocolate cake. The cafe was busy, and the sound of people chatting created a warm and friendly atmosphere. I sat by the window and watched the rain fall outside. This type of mental replay is a perfect way to combine your vocabulary, grammar, and storytelling skills all in one powerful exercise. You can also challenge yourself by describing the same memory in different ways. First, keep your description short and simple. Then, try again, making it more descriptive. And finally, tell the story a third time. But this time, add your feelings and opinions. This process trains your flexibility in expressing ideas. For example, I went to the cafe. Then, more detailed, I went to the cafe on Sunday morning and had a coffee. And finally, with emotion, I went to the cafe on Sunday morning, enjoyed a warm cappuccino, and felt completely relaxed while watching the rain outside. Making this a daily habit will help your thoughts flow much more easily and naturally in English. Another helpful habit to develop is practicing comparisons. This is when you talk about the similarities and differences between two things. For example, Tea and coffee are both popular drinks, but tea generally has a lighter flavor, while coffee is stronger and more bitter. Making comparisons not only helps you practice using adjectives and structuring your sentences, but it also provides you with more material to talk about. Let's try a quick comparison drill. Compare summer and winter. Summer is warm and sunny, and people tend to spend more time outdoors, while winter is cold, and people usually stay indoors more often. Now, let's compare books and movies. Books allow you to imagine the scenes in your own mind, while movies show you the story visually. You can do this with almost anything, different types of food, cities, hobbies, or even people's personalities. It's also incredibly useful to practice giving explanations. If someone asks you a question, make an effort to explain your answer instead of just stating it. For example, if you are asked, "Do you like swimming?" Instead of simply saying yes, you could say, "Yes, I like swimming because it helps me stay fit, and I really enjoy being in the water, especially in the summer." Adding these explanations makes your speaking richer, more detailed, and more engaging. And when you are explaining something, don't hesitate to use examples. For instance, I think learning English through movies is effective because you can hear real natural conversations. For example, I learned the phrase "take your time" from a film, and now I use it in my daily life. Examples give your listener a clear picture of what you mean and make your point much stronger. Another great way to boost your fluency is to play the what if game. Ask yourself hypothetical questions and answer them out loud. For example, what if I won the lottery? You could answer, if I won the lottery, I would travel the world, buy a house by the beach, and help my family. These imaginary situations push you to think creatively in English and use a wide variety of tenses and grammatical structures. Finally, please remember that the key to speaking fluently in 30 days is consistent, focused practice. You do not need to spend hours studying every day. Even 20 to 30 minutes of concentrated speaking, listening, and thinking in English will lead to huge improvements. The more you succeed in making English a part of your everyday life, the faster it will begin to feel like a natural part of you. Another simple but highly effective practice is to retell something you've recently heard or read, but in your own words. This could be a short news story, a conversation you overheard, or even a scene from a movie you watched. When you retell something, you are actively processing the information, reorganizing it in your mind, and then expressing it using your own unique vocabulary. For example, if you read a short article about healthy eating, you could summarize it by saying, "The article talked about the benefits of eating fresh fruits and vegetables every day. It explained that they give you energy, help your body stay strong, and reduce the risk of illness. It also suggested drinking plenty of water." This exercise is fantastic because it improves both your comprehension and your fluency simultaneously. You can make this exercise even more challenging by retelling the story from a different perspective. For instance, if the original article is written in the third person, you could try retelling it from the first person point of view. "I eat fresh fruits and vegetables every day because they give me energy, help me stay strong, and reduce my risk of illness. I also make sure to drink plenty of water." This adds an interesting variety to your speaking practice and forces you to adjust your sentence structures on the spot. A related habit is to summarize your day in English just before you go to sleep. You could say something like, "This morning I woke up early, made breakfast, and then went for a walk. In the afternoon, I worked on my project and made some important phone calls. In the evening, I relaxed with a good book before having dinner." This not only provides you with a consistent daily speaking routine, but also helps you to remember and actively use vocabulary related to everyday activities. Another effective drill is what I call opinion building. Choose a random topic and speak for 1 minute, sharing your opinion and the reasons behind it. For example, I think people should read more books because reading improves focus, teaches new information, and exercises the mind. In my opinion, it's a much better use of time than spending too much of it on social media. Practicing this regularly will help you develop quick, confident, and well reasoned responses to open ended questions. It's also helpful to combine opinion building with debate practice. Imagine that someone disagrees with your point of view and try to respond politely. For example, if someone says, I think social media is better than reading books, you could reply, I understand your point, but I personally believe that books give us a deeper level of knowledge and concentration that social media can't always provide. This teaches you to remain calm under pressure, express yourself clearly, and use respectful language even when you have a different opinion. You can also practice your fluency by describing processes step by step. For example, how to make a cup of tea. First, I boil some water in a kettle. Then, I place a tea bag into a cup. When the water is hot, I pour it into the cup and let it steep for a few minutes. After that, I remove the tea bag and add sugar or milk if I want. Describing a process like this forces you to think in a logical sequence, which is a very useful skill for structured and coherent speaking. And please don't forget the importance of self-motivation. Every single day, take a moment to remind yourself why you want to speak English fluently. Perhaps it's for better work opportunities, for traveling the world, for studying abroad, or for making new friends from different cultures. Keeping that core reason at the front of your mind will give you the energy and determination to practice, even on days when you feel tired or busy. A great way to strengthen your fluency is to practice describing images or scenes in detail. You can use photos from a magazine, pictures you find online, or even just the things you see around you in real life. Look at the image closely and talk about everything you notice. For example, in this picture, there is a family having a picnic in a park. The parents are sitting on a blanket, smiling at each other while their children are playing with a ball nearby. The sun is shining brightly and there are many tall trees in the background. This exercise trains you to observe details quickly and then express them clearly and accurately in English. To make it more challenging, you can try adding a story to the image. I think this family came to the park to celebrate a birthday. They probably brought homemade sandwiches and drinks with them. The children look very happy, maybe because they don't often get the chance to play outside together. This forces you to use your imagination, which in turn helps you practice a much wider range of vocabulary and sentence structures. Another excellent practice method is to set a timer and speak nonstop for 2 or 3 minutes. Choose any topic at all, your plans for the weekend, your favorite type of food, or something you learned recently. The only goal is to keep talking without stopping to translate in your head or search for the perfect grammar. If you can't think of the exact word you need, just use a simpler one or explain it in a different way. Over time, this exercise builds the crucial habit of speaking continuously, which is absolutely essential for true fluency. You can also improve your speaking by practicing with contrasts. Describe two different things and switch back and forth between them. For example, in the city, life is very fast-paced and noisy. People are always in a hurry, and there is traffic everywhere. In the countryside, on the other hand, life is slower and quieter. You can hear birds singing, and people seem to have more time to talk to each other. Switching between these two descriptions trains your brain to organize and present different ideas quickly and effectively. An equally important skill to work on is your listening memory. Listen to a short conversation or a piece of audio and then try to repeat as much of it as you can remember. For example, if you hear, I'm going to the store to buy some vegetables. Do you need anything? You could repeat back, you said you're going to the store to buy vegetables and you asked if I need anything. This improves both your comprehension and your recall, which will make your responses in real conversations quicker and more accurate. And finally, always remind yourself that fluency grows from consistency. It is not about one long, perfect study session. It's about the commitment to showing up every single day, speaking, listening, and thinking in English. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of focused practice can make a real, tangible difference when it is done daily. In 30 days, you will look back and realize just how much more naturally and confidently you can express yourself. Another technique you can add to your daily routine is what I call time pressure speaking. This is when you give yourself a very short amount of time to answer a question or talk about a topic. For example, set a timer for just 30 seconds and answer the question, what did you do yesterday? Then, increase the time to 1 minute with the same topic, forcing yourself to add more details and expand your sentences. The time limit compels you to think quickly, while repeating the topic helps you to add new layers and ideas with each round. You can also combine this with question cycling. Choose 3 different questions and answer them one after another without pausing. For example, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is pasta because it's comforting, easy to make, and I can change the ingredients every time. What do you usually do on weekends? On weekends, I like to wake up a bit later, go for a walk, and meet my friends for coffee. Where would you like to travel next? I'd love to visit Japan because of its incredible culture, food, and beautiful scenery. Cycling through questions like this gives you rapid-fire practice and keeps your mind sharp and active in English. Another powerful drill is story chaining. You start with a simple sentence and then keep adding new details one by one, linking them all together smoothly. For example, I went to the park. I went to the park yesterday afternoon. I went to the park yesterday afternoon to meet my friend. I went to the park yesterday afternoon to meet my friend because we hadn't seen each other in months. This builds your ability to extend your ideas naturally instead of stopping a sentence too soon. It's also extremely useful to practice spontaneous descriptions of your immediate surroundings. Wherever you are, just look around and start talking about what you see, hear, and feel. I'm sitting at my desk. There's a cup of tea next to my computer. Outside, I can hear a car passing by. The room feels warm and quiet. Doing this trains you to form sentences instantly about real-time situations, which is exactly what you need to do in a natural conversation. Don't forget to mix in emotional language when you speak. Words like amazing, frustrating, peaceful, and exciting make your speech more colorful and expressive. Instead of just saying, the view was nice, you could say, the view was absolutely breathtaking, and it made me feel so peaceful inside. The more you use these kinds of expressions, the more engaging and captivating your speaking will become. To end today's practice session, please remember that achieving fluency in 30 days comes down to 3 main things: speaking as much as you possibly can, listening actively to the language around you, and making a conscious effort to think in English whenever you can. Every single moment that you choose to use English instead of remaining silent or reverting to your first language is a concrete step toward your goal. Keep showing up, keep practicing with dedication, and in 1 month, you will truly surprise yourself with how far you have come. Before we wrap up, I want you to take a quiet moment and truly think about how much progress you can make in 30 days if you fully commit to this journey. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up for yourself every single day, speaking a little more, listening a little more intently, and allowing English to become a natural and integrated part of your life. Even the smallest moments count. Ordering food in English, greeting a neighbor, or simply talking to yourself about what you are doing, these small actions build into powerful habits, and those habits are what ultimately lead to fluency. I want to encourage you to challenge yourself starting today. Speak to someone in English, even if it's just for one single sentence. Listen to a short English audio clip and repeat it out loud. Describe something around you in rich detail. Keep stacking these small, consistent actions day after day. You will begin to notice your confidence growing, your words flowing more easily, and your thoughts forming more quickly in English. If you found today's masterclass helpful and you are eager for more lessons like this, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss any of the daily English learning videos that we create to guide you step by step on your path toward fluency. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you get notified every time a new lesson is posted for you. Thank you so much for spending this time practicing with me today. I am truly proud of the effort you are investing in your English skills. Keep going, stay consistent, and I will see you in the next lesson. Until then, take care and remember to keep speaking English every single day.